Hey, this is Dr. Brendan McCarthy. I am the Chief Medical Officer of Protea Medical Center in Chandler, Arizona. Thank you for tuning in. This is the Q&A section of my podcast where I like to answer some really important questions that people bring up. You know, in the comments section of the videos, I always scroll through them and looking for good questions. I try and answer as many as I can. And the ones that are really important, I try and make a little video about that. And that's what you've come across today. This one is about cost. And this is a lot to unpack. I'm going to do my best to do it in a short period of time. So many of you are daunted and turned off by the cost of this type of care. I was speaking with my office manager last night, and she was commenting there's a doctor in my area who charges, I think it was $800 a visit. $900 a visit. I remember hearing that, and I kind of, I saw red. When you're not well and you're desperate, you're more vulnerable than at any other time. That's when unethical people try and step in and take advantage of you. Medicine. One of you once posted that, you know, greed and medicine are just terrible. And I agree, you know, the greed and medicine are exact opposite goals. They have exact opposite goals. Healthcare and greed have opposite goals. And it's sad that there's so much greed in healthcare because it's the opposite of what we should be doing. When you are desperate, the price seems to go up. When you are in a place of vulnerability, the price goes up. I look at EpiPens. Epinephrine you can buy for pennies. You know, anything God made, you cannot patent. So epinephrine is a naturally occurring compound. Can't patent that. But they can patent the pen, and they can charge you $600 for it because you're desperate. This last week, insulin was dropped in price from some obscene number down to, I think it was $35 for a month's supply they lowered it to. That's I mean, for the love of Pete, they just did it out of nowhere. That's just pure profit they just cut down. They're still making money on it. We know that. But it's no longer, $1,000 a month or whatever it was, some obscene number. When you're desperate, cancer treatments, all of these things, you're vulnerable. When we have patients who come in, and I use this analogy a lot, I could be brilliant. I could be the smartest man in the world and, figure out what's wrong with the patient, like figure out every time, home run, and I'll tell you, that is not the most important thing in medical care. Every doctor thinks it is because I want to, sink it every time. I want to get it perfect every time. That's actually not it. Scoring every time is not it. The most important thing in medicine is the long-term care that you receive that's reliable and that you can trust. And when a patient comes in and they've been experiencing chronic anxiety due to low progesterone or insomnia or depression, and they know their hormones are the cause because it's cyclical, it comes with their cycle, they know, and they come into my office and I sit here and I get it, and I run the lab and I show it to them on paper, there's a relief. There's a sense of understanding and care. But along with that, profound vulnerability. Because now that I figured it out, can I keep care with them and a meaningful way to make sure that I'm able to deliver that care that they can trust and rely on? And that's a vulnerable place to be in. And when I see that, and patients get nervous and, are you going to be able to get the medication on time? Is this the right dose? Is this refilled correctly? Did I do the labs on time? There's so much anxiety in there. And I'm bringing this up for a reason. When I see a person vulnerable like that, everything in me is called out to want to comfort, hear, and help, and to affirm the person. What I see in the market is they do the opposite often. They see vulnerable, they jack up the price. They use your insecurity, your vulnerability to raise the price because you will pay money when you're vulnerable. Someone figured you out, they understand you. Oh, okay, let me cash out. Let me throw out as much money as humanly possible here. So I'll pay it. You know, if your kid is sick, won't you pay? If you've had anxiety for years and this is the first time someone figured out, well, won't you pay? There's so much of that in medicine. I know it. All I could say is that it's not all of us are like that. I think I still charge the same amount. I think my follow-up visits, I think, is $175 right now. And I spend, I think, about 45 minutes to an hour in the room with my patients. I think it's cheaper than what it costs to color your hair. I think that's what we bill it at. But I mean, I have a staff I need to pay for and all those things. So that's my price point. But it's a lot less than the $900. When you see these prices, please know that these people are not there for you. They're there for a paycheck, and that they are there to take advantage of you. These people may give you excuses and say, my experience or my knowledge, these things. I've been doing this 20 years. I know more than a lot of the other guys who are out there have been doing for 10 years. I'll tell you, that is not a good excuse. I will say, when you see those prices, it's important to do your best to find someone else as quickly as possible, because I wouldn't trust people like that. And I'm sorry if that's the only person in your neighborhood, and you're I know there's not many doctors that practice this way or that do hormones that even approach you like this. But I wouldn't trust it. That was not my favorite answer to give on a question, because it's somber and it's sad and it's really depressing. I'm sorry. I wish I had a better answer to give you, but at least I'm able to give you some kind of answer. Okay? It's not worth it. It just isn't. I would not trust someone who billed me like that. Do not trust that person. Okay? I hope that helped. I will do my best to keep up with these videos and keep up with these answers. Thank you for tuning in.